Greetings, loyalists and heretics. Welcome to Iron and Ceramite, where we once again enter the warp without an astropath.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Iron and Ceramite podcast. My name is John, and today I'm joined by Tommy. Silent. Shane.
Hello.
And Dave.
Hello.
It's been a week. Glenn is still asleep. He may be in a coma, we don't know, or he may still be playing combat cards in a darkened room. So I'll hand it to you, Shane, and you can tell everybody who is watching or listening what we're up to.
Yep. So this week we thought we'd talk about if we could change or alter any rule in 40k as it stands today. What would it be and why? Like, what rule would we pick and why would we change it? There's plenty of rules out there. There's a lot of talk about rule bloat and so on and so forth. So felt like a good topic and something we could easily get our teeth sunk into.
Before we dive into it, is there anything particular that inspired you to throw this to the group? This sort of idea, was there more than one thing that you picked up on?
I think it is a couple of bits. I think there's always a lot of rule. Well, I say always a lot. There's typically rule changes between editions, which is quite common. Like between 8th and 9th, a good example is that in 8th every unit could Overwatch and it didn't cost you any CP. So Overwatch was like the Overwatch phase, and you'd get armies torn to shreds just from Overwatch. So if you imagine Tau back then, every unit could Overwatch and you didn't have to pay a CP for it. It was just a standard part of the edition. So rules change, and some are good, some are bad. Some people want them back, and likewise, like the data slates add new rules. Like a good example right now is the Armor of Contempt that's been added for any power armored armies, effectively. And there's there are rumors now circulating already that we're not that far away from potentially a 10th edition. Obviously we've still got a couple of books yet to go, but it could be within the next year that we see that edition come out. So again, the rules might change. We might have different changes that come in. So that was the first bit. And then actually playing a few Tempest of War games made me think about some of the things we do or we've got used to as gamers, and maybe just think about some of the rules. But that would be giving away the one that the rule that I would start with.
Do you want to go first then?
I can do.
While you're on the roll.
So this was inspired by the last Tempest of War game we played, John, okay, where the twist was that the CP reroll strategy cost 2 CP rather than 1 CP. And I didn't use the CP reroll strat once that game because I wanted to use my CP on stratagems. It seemed like it was too expensive just for a reroll. And that was it. So that then led me to think, well, do you know what, actually, why does that exist? So the rule I would get rid of or change is that there would be no CP reroll. You could have character rerolls. So obviously you'd get your rerolls for your character buffs. You'd still be able to spend your CP on stratagems, but there would be no reroll stratagem. That's what I'd get rid of. Big, but when I didn't need to use it, when I was like, actually, I've got to pay that much for it, I didn't need to use it. Didn't affect the game.
To be honest, in reality sense, it does make sense, because that wouldn't happen in a battle, would it? Like obviously you could use an aura or whatever from your captain or your lieutenant or whatever HQ, but you wouldn't just be able to go, oh, fuck that up. Let's just try and see what happens with a reroll, which it makes sense.
Well, think about like using a plasma pistol where it blows you up and you go, actually, no, I'm going to reroll that. I'm not dead. I'm back.
Yeah.
But no, do you know what? That's a good rule to bin. Because
I just, as said, it wasn't until I played that game all the way through, and I was like, actually, I didn't miss not re-rolling, if that made sense. It was just like, do you know what? You roll the dice. That was it. You just wore it. It was fine, and it didn't affect the game at all. Not in any real way. It was fairly refreshing not to have to worry about it.
Yeah, and you don't do it a lot, do you? And
I think the thing is, you can start if you've got CP there. You can burn them on CP rerolls quicker than you realise, and then it doesn't leave you enough for the stuff that the cool stratagems that you actually want to use it for.
Yeah.
And as I said, normally I've used all of my CP by the end of turn 2 anyway. But this just made it stretch out a little bit longer, and I was actually using it on stratagems as opposed to just I'm going to re-roll that armor save, see if I can save a wound or keep it alive. So I was like, no, that's it. I reckon I can do without it.
It's one of those rules. Sorry, I was going to say it's one of them rules that you only use it because you get the arse because you don't want a cool character to die or fuck itself over, or you think this is a fucking tank. This is my most expensive unit. It should have fucking killed you. I'm going to do it again, and then you roll one again.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the thing. That's what I was going to say. Is that the amount of CP rerolls that don't change
anything?
The amount, like, I don't think I've ever rolled anything other than a 1 from a CP reroll on a 1. I don't know what it is, but maybe I just notice them more. But sorry,
I don't believe you. I remember numerous times, but go on.
I always think back to that game where we played the 2v2 game, and I had Typhus. I think it was Typhus, and he had the objective in his hand, and then I did the psychic test and failed, so I re-rolled it and failed again, and it's just like, not only did I like kill the fucking character for no reason, I fucking spent a CP point and killed him again.
Yeah. But it's even like re-rolling like charge rolls and stuff like that. You know, you've got some units that get native re-rolls, like World Eaters or other units that can re-roll charges and stuff like that. Sometimes you just wear it. Like, you don't have to put yourself through the pain of failing a charge twice, which I know is something that's happened to you a lot, John.
You wound me.
That's it. Well, you know, that 9-inch charge with your Blight Lords, and then, you know, you spent CP on it, and then they do fuck all on the corner of the battle for the rest of the game.
No, just plod along slowly, get picked off. Getting ignored is the worst thing. I'd rather they got picked off than ignored.
Yeah, I do like ignoring them once they're stuck in a corner.
But just to play devil's advocate, now you've worked this out, Shane, that you've thought, actually, it's maybe not worth spending the CP on. Maybe I could spend it on other things and it would help me out. Would you not want it to stay so that other people can burn up their CP on that while you've come to the conclusion that it's maybe not worth it?
I mean, as I said, I don't mind other people doing it, but so again, I think it depends whether you play competitively or for the narrative of the battle. And I think if you play for the narrative of the battle, it's actually better for both sides to spend their money on their CPs on cool stratagems rather than just CP rerolls. If you're playing more competitively, then yeah, absolutely burn your CP, like go nuts. I think that's the difference between the two. Like, it's always nice when someone forgets that they're saving their CP to like interrupt, and they're like, "Oh, I'll re-roll that armor save," and then like, "Oh shit, now I can't interrupt in my turn." And you're like, "Well, you know." Whereas that, as I said, I got an extra interrupt because I hadn't burnt CP, because it was just the change between a re-roll costing 1 CP or costing 2 CP, and I was like, I'm not paying 2 CP for a re-roll.
Yeah. So eyes have been opened. When we play the next game, do you think you'll just avoid command re-rolls, or is there something that could make you, because like you just said, you'd just rather wear it narratively?
Yeah. I think
is it going to be like say you're drawn on points with someone, and it's like, all right, I need to kill this person to win. You've got 1 CP left, or you could use it. Is it if it comes down to the end of the game, is that you'd use it then?
I think, well, you know, strategically, it's always CP for VP, right? That's the analogy here. I think I would, as I said, I think genuinely, I'll like the next game of playing that will be against Dave. I'll probably be trying not to use the CP for anything other than the stratagems, because I think that's where it's actually going to be spent best over the course of the battle. If it gets down to turn 5 and I've got nothing else to spend it on, then yeah, I'll probably still do a cheeky reroll. But I think generally I'm going to look to spend it on stratagems rather than rerolls.
Do you think it would be a good idea, maybe, if they added it into the stratagem as command reroll? This can only be used once per battle. So say if there's a massive battle turning event, each one have got that card just to use once, just for one CP. You can only use it once in the whole battle to re-roll one thing if it came down to it.
Yeah, I think that could work. Yeah, I think that would work. As I said, I think that's the rule I would change. As I said, not get rid of, but certainly change, because as I said, playing that game where it just went up to double made me really think about what I used it for before, and it was like it would just be on just shit. Just let's give a re-roll for re-roll's sake. It's like, actually, there's so much better stuff you can spend that CP on.
Because it would be good if you think of it per phase, because command phase, you don't really need a CP reroll. Movement phase, you don't. Psychic phase, if you fuck up and you've
got perils,
you get perils, you'd like to think maybe that what they should do is write in that psychers could reroll anyway. Well, not all psychers do, which is.
But that's what I mean. A lot of psychers. That's what I mean. A lot of units have native rules where they get to re-roll anyway. So you've got it built in for a lot of units.
So for the psychic bit, it would be nice to get everybody to have it. I think shooting, it should be taken out, because you don't get to shoot twice. Like, especially because the only time you do it is when you blow yourself up with plasma or you want to use a big tank. I think that should be take it out for that.
Sometimes it's when you've got a swingy D6 las cannon and you roll a 1 and you're like,
bastard.
I'll CP that to try and get anything better than a 1, and invariably it's a 1.
It's a 2. Yeah.
yeah. You're like,
yeah. So I think psychic phase, it should be written in. If you've got a psyker, they should get that one chance. If you've got 2 abilities, you get one chance to get out of perils.
See, I think it depends on the psyker. I think, again, it then makes you make a choice about your army makeup and who you're going to buy. So, like, Njol, for example, the Space Wolves, he costs, 180 points or whatever it is. He gets a native reroll.
Yeah.
If I just want a standard psyker, he's 120 points. He doesn't get a reroll. Then, it's how you build your army up then.
So pretty much what would make sense to you is, rather than having it as an overall rule, like army-wide for any army, just specific characters of certain armies just get that perk added onto them as buffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you get it. It's like the same as like Death Guard when they're within range of their Lord of Contagion, or even like in Marine armies where you've got your lieutenants and stuff like that, and people within range of them, their auras give units native rerolls, and that's where I think it's more thematic. And then I think that you don't need the CP reroll as much as maybe people now rely on it. And I think by taking it away or changing it, like you said, to once per game, probably makes it a bit more narrative and lets you actually spend your CP on cooler army rules that let you do more narrative things, more strategic things as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I only bring up the psychic phase selfishly from a Death Guard point of view, because without a strat, without using the Wretched Plague Company, none of my psychers get an actual reroll for free.
Well,
so, that's the army, isn't it? That's the army.
Mortarion, does he not?
I don't know. I don't know Mortarion's rules because I don't own him. He may do. I'll come back to that if he does. But that's the only reason I think.
Did you say you had a strat that could do it as well?
I have a strat, but that's what I'm saying. It has to be.
There you go.
For one psyker, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but that's what I'm saying. So if you're deleting it, I'd like at least one of my people to get it for free. That's purely from a selfish point of view.
Didn't you say you got it in a strat?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In a strat, I don't want to pay for it. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to
no, tough shit. Everyone's got to pay for it.
No, I don't want to. But then the only other thing I was going to say is, we're like, The only time I think that it comes into play massively is charging, because failing a charge is the fucking worst. Especially when you deep strike something and you're
Well,
like,
that's what I mean. You're
going to get in.
You're known for it.
Yeah, no, I feel attacked by this CP reroll bullshit.
No, that's what I mean. I want your Blight Lords stranded in the stranded. I think it also makes you genuinely. It makes you like it can improve your play because you don't rely on. Like you've got to know that when you're deep striking in, you're not just doing it on a whim. You're like, right, at second turn, I'm going to deep strike them 9 inches from somewhere.
Yeah.
Typically in the back line, you've actually got to think, actually, do I need to deep strike them yet? Do I hold them another turn to let the battlefield change a little bit so that when I do deep strike them, they've got more than one option?
Yeah.
Like they might fail their charge, but then they're still in the middle of the battle. So they're not going to be like cut off at the edge somewhere. Or am I deep striking them in to get a secondary? So I think it makes you think about those decisions a bit more than I'll deep strike them in and then I'll get, if they fail the charge, I'll re-roll it.
Right. Yeah, but and that's it. But my movement's so limited. But I do agree. I do agree. From the game we played the other day, Tempest to War, I would happily lose.
I think you only
CP
re-rolled. You only did one CP.
Yeah, I did one. I can't remember what it was for. Maybe it was for the Tallyman when he blew up at the end.
Oh, that might well have been. But you only did it once in that entire game as well.
Yeah, and it's because it's expensive, isn't it? Like
that's right.
You look at a lot of your strats and you think, 2 CP to add like an extra attack. That's a lot, but I'd rather do it that way. I would rather bring back some more Poxwalkers than re-roll a shitty plasma pistol roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to answer your question, no, Mortarion doesn't get a natural re-roll for the cycler.
Oh well, tough shit then.
I think that's a really good point, though. That is a really good rule change. I think definitely something, it would be good to look at that at least. I mean, like I say, either taking it down to 1 or just getting rid of it altogether. I think that would make it a lot more fun, wouldn't it? No one would be worrying about it. You could just get past that and think, right, concentrate on my stratagem. What can I use for my specific armor?
Yeah.
It would make a lot more sense, yeah.
And we do stand there for ages, biting your lip and going, do I not? And the other person's going, fucking do it.
How many times is that? Yeah, you can re-roll that. You can command point re-roll
that. You're looking at someone who's got like 8 CP left and you think, they're going to fuck me up in a minute. Go on, re-roll it, mate. Go on. Do we vote? Do we vote on it? Should we, for a laugh, should we vote on it? I'd vote to bin it.
Yeah, I'd vote to bin it.
Okay.
I would not vote either way. Like I say, I still think there's a place for having 1 each, just so either one of you can think, he's still fucking got that. He's still got that. Where is he going to use it?
So are you saying you only get 1 command re-roll for the game, or is it 1 command roll per phase per game? If that makes sense.
1
Just
per
1
entire game. Yeah, that's it.
That's like your Hail Mary.
Yeah, like a lot. You can save it right to the end, or something happens in the middle, and you think, "Shit, I can't really ignore that." But you've only got that 1 chance. It's like 1.
That would be good. Like as a core strat for 1 CP or 2 CP. You get 2 CP. You get 1 command re-roll, and then you have to use it at an important moment in your game. I think that would work.
That would make sense, actually. Make it up to 2 just for that 1 point, because it has to, and then you know that it has to be an epic moment, like the one and only moment you can use it. Yeah, that makes sense.
That round 5 character charge. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that works for me. I think it would still result in the end what I'm thinking we need to achieve, or what I think would help the game is that you worry less about it and you save it for the really big moments.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So that was it. That was my big one. That was the big thing I'd look at, the CP reroll.
Really good one, man. Really good.
That was a good shout.
Who's next?
I don't want to follow that one. So, Tom.
So, I'm not going to lie. I didn't really think about it too much until a couple of days ago. And even then, I didn't actually have anything in my mind, because everything I looked at, I thought, well, I'm still not versed enough in the rule book to say, oh, this shouldn't be done like that, or this shouldn't be done like whatever. And I really thought about it today. I actually looked through the rule book, and I thought, what annoys me? And I thought it's more of a recent thing, I suppose, with the towel and the rail guns and all that. But
the towel can't play anymore. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just get rid of them. No, but like, so my thing is that ignore invuln. I don't think that should exist at all. Simply because, what does invulnerable mean? Well, I even looked up the meaning because I'm too stupid to know off the top of my head. So, invulnerable, impossible to harm or damage. That's the literal meaning of invulnerable. So if you're rolling an invulnerable save, if you get the invulnerable save, it means you're then impossible to damage or impossible to harm. And then you've got something, I know it's a railgun, fine, but it can't do the impossible. I know this is all fake and it's all 40k still, but what is the point? You've got someone who brings a whole army, 50% of them have got shields, and then you've got another army and they can literally just ignore all of your points, basically, that you put into everything, because it just ignores what you've got. It doesn't make sense to me. I just, make
I want to see Tom screaming, but it's invulnerable.
Cool. But my thing is, right, if you're going to make a gun that strong, then do it through saying, -6 AP. There's nothing that can armor save it. Put the damage up to fucking 20 if you want. But if it hits an invuln, it's still an invuln. Do you know what I mean? You still got that chance of saving yourself. Otherwise, if it just cuts through everything, it just seems a bit. I know what they're doing to sell the model and everything, but yeah, long story short, I bloody hate the idea of it, getting hit by it, especially.
I think it's an interesting point because it's it's an issue with the game design itself as well, because they go through like phases, right, between editions where they go, right, like the 3-up invuln used to be in 8th edition, so you used to have units that had a 3-up invuln, nothing could take that down, and that was it. And it was like, okay, that's too strong. You can't have 3-up invulns all the time because you just can't kill anything. So now most units that have an invuln are 4-up or 5-up, like depending on what it is in 9th edition. And then on top of that, they were like, right, well, actually, we've got stuff that ignores invulns, so we'll give some units the ability to just shrug wounds. On a 5-up, they just ignore the wounds. Like, so we'll add that in as well, because then that means for those weapons that do ignore invulns, there's actually another invuln.
Yeah,
and I think that it's just that's what they do. When we get to the next edition, they'll sort all of that out and they'll go, right, we've made a bit of a mess with the invulns and the shrugs, so we'll change this, and it means the railgun will do that and this will do that. And everyone that had an invuln before, they're all 4-up invulns across the board, and then as they release the codexes, it fucks it all up again.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree. I think they haven't got invulns right because of rules bloat and codex creep. And it's like, right, we've got the towel as an example. If you look at their 8th edition codex and you were running them now, they're just going to keep getting fucked over. So what do? We'll give them a big old gun that ignores invulns, and then, as rightly so, everyone that's got an invuln is like, hang on, what the fuck? It's the same as the Necron Shard. It's got an ability that can ignore invulns. So when it attacks, it's like that. You can't use any invulns against the attack. And I think it's the Thousand Suns have got a psychic power that if it goes off, if it goes off, it turns off invulnerable saves for a unit. That I'm less problematic with, because it's like a psychic power that
because it's your army that
because you have a 1,000 Sun army.
Well, no, but what I mean with that is it's not guaranteed. So it's not like it can only go off if you pass the psychic test, if you do the stuff that you need to do. It's not guaranteed, and you can't use it every turn, and so on and so forth.
That, Shane, your Thousand Suns Cabal points sort of make everything fucking guaranteed, from my experience.
I use that.
I think I defended maybe one or two psychic attacks out of 40.
But that's all they do, though. They can't punch you in combat. They just tie you up for ages.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
No,
fair enough.
As a recent Tau player, I wholeheartedly disagree.
Yeah, that's always a good army, isn't it?
No, I really I've liked Tau for a little while. I think
Because
that
they got
a
a new
lot of their
codex that
shooting
ignored fucking invuns.
that helped, but no, I think that like I say, they're a cool faction, but I do think that a lot of their weapon it is OP. I think that they are a very, very good faction at the moment, and I think there does need to be a way of evening that out. Maybe even just bringing the invuln down, like adding +1 to an invuln.
Yeah.
Rather than taking it away would be fairer. But yeah, or give all armies access to a weapon that does that. If you're going to have things like the Tau that can just melt through things, well, give,
I think with
for example, Death Guard, give them some fucking champion that can switch off invuns. Give the Imperial Fist some relic bolter that switches off invuns. Do you know what I mean? Just something like that that would perhaps make it fairer.
I don't know, because Death Guard have obviously gives the contagion range, so that's there. We're going to make you a little bit weaker. I think with Tau, turn off invuns. So you got this ultimate weapon.
It's only one gun, right?
Yeah, you got invuln saves for a reason, to make your champions and terminators and maybe a couple of other bits and pieces stand a bit longer. So with the Tau, whose melee is famously poor, so they've got this one big gun that can fuck you up. So I don't know with you guys if you've played, because my movement is shit. It's short range movement. So I don't know if you guys have played the Tau, because I think they've got that advantage of shooting you first. But can you get up? Did you manage to get up to them?
Mate, no. Do you know what? Right, I actually run a Blood Angels. Obviously, I didn't know any of Dave. In my defence, I didn't know any of the strats. Never played the Tau. Didn't know anything that any one of them had.
Yeah. So look at his fucking face, the smug face.
So I played a thematic army. I thought, if I don't know what's going on, then I'm going to play a fun army. Well, I thought it was fun at the time anyway.
Yeah.
It was fun. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
into the lunar wraiths.
I literally felt like crushing every one of my models into Dave's face. Like every time I went to charge something, he'd go Overwatch. I'm going to use this CP, and he's going to Overwatch on 5 with all of his guns. And I'd be like, and basically
for that one, I didn't actually have to use a CP because it was just
was it? Or
and then it was like they had on the photon grenades had 2 to your charges.
Oh yeah,
and it was just horrible. Everything that he was charging, it was +2, and then I managed to Overwatch something for free, and it was just. It was fun. Don't get me wrong, but
I think next time I play,
their movement is really, really good as well. It's not just their shooting that's really good; their movement and their
Tower is really
staying out of combat. If you like I say, you can be quite strategic with it, but they are pretty good at that as well. So,
but also the fact that whenever I would target you, even with my guns, that I didn't have many of, a lot of your units had -1 to hit as well. And your
for stealth suits, yeah.
Suits, which come up right at the beginning, which I imagine was your plan to, keep me shooting at. And then your commander, whatever his fucking name was, literally re-rolls everything.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Everything.
All hits and all wins, yeah.
What?
Precision of the hunter. Yeah. It is horrible. And bear in mind he's got 2 burst cannons.
Yeah. So literally he in a smaller match, he put him at the back in the corner and just fired at me from a distance, everything re-rolling. Obviously, was it 2s to hit as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2s to hit, everything re-rolling, including wounds with us.
You'll see him on Friday, Shane.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Get it as soon as possible. But the problem is you won't be able to.
That's pretty filthy.
I've gone off topic a little bit, but seriously, the Tau shooting was strong enough. And this was a game without any railguns. This is what I'm saying. Like, could you imagine a railgun in the middle of that? And I was already getting decimated by like round 3, wiped off the table pretty much. And I don't think they need ignore invuln on anything.
I would vote positively to get rid of that ignore invulnerable because it doesn't benefit. I don't have any, as far as I know, I don't have anything that can give that out. So yeah, I'm for that.
But I agree with Shane as well, though. When it comes to psychic powers, it makes sense, doesn't it? Because that would change things. Because it's with the mind. You can make things of the warp, if you know what I mean. It's thematic. It makes sense. But gunfire, no.
I think my vote on it would go more favourably towards I don't think it should ignore invulns. I think maybe, as Dave said, it tweaks the invuln, so you still get the invulnerable save, but it's maybe a harder run to it, because I think it's more of a balance issue in the game. So I think it's a fair point to bring up because it's a balance problem. But
with the psychic power, you dish out mortal wounds that ignore invulns anyway. So why turn off the invulns? If you can give out more,
in that case, then
give me 2 mortal wounds rather than 1, but don't turn my invuln off when you're shooting at me afterwards, because you're dangerous as it is.
What about with the railgun does mortal wounds on top of ignoring your invuln? That's
was that everyone spoke at once. Then what did you say, Dave?
How about when the railgun adds on mortal wounds as well as ignoring your invuln?
Why don't you just fuck off with that? Shane, what did you say?
No, I was going to say that's 2 different psychic powers.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But why do you need a psychic power to turn my invuln off when you could just give me mortal wounds anyway?
Because it depends where you are. Like, that's tactical. You've got different ways of doing things. Right?
I don't want to lose I don't want my Terminators losing their mortal wounds.
Again, I go back to the point before. Tough shit. But like, if you're playing the old, what's it called, the old Black Templars, they've got their shrug like for mortal wounds. You can't turn that off. Like, you could throw out as many mortal wounds as you like. The fuckers still like ignore them.
Going to say some.
Yeah, well, I don't even get that. I'm not looking at a game.
Do you know what this is, John? Do you know what that is, John?
Yeah. That's your fingers rubbing together. It's no violin.
It's the world's smallest
violin. No, it's not. There's no violin. I'm only looking at it from a selfish point of view. I'm not looking at it your point of view.
No, that's fair. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Death Guard players will agree with me.
So for voting on that one, where are we going to go with that one?
Turn them off. Get rid of turning off invulns for me.
Shane?
I'm with Tom.
I think it's a balance issue. I think I would keep invulns. Maybe it needs tweaking, but I think invulns are they're there to be invulnerable.
Yeah. No, I think it does need tweaking, in all honesty. But while I'm playing Tau, maybe just tweaking a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't know the right answer, but I think tweaking it is the way to go.
Let me get the hammerhead and shoot some shit off the board first, and then change it.
Well, that's what I mean. I want to use our Yak with his free up invuln while he's got it for this edition, and then they'll take it away. That's fine.
So what you're telling me is I need to buy a hammerhead and have it built by Friday.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. Note to self.
Is it going to be painted in Glen Grey?
I'm sure I can manage to give it one spray can of sandy dust.
Okay, so that's spicy conversation so far. I like it.
I was just looking, because even if you change it to adding and making adding 1 to invuln saves, because a lot of my armor is already on a 5. Not a lot of it. Some of my armor is already on a 5 up. So a 6 up invuln save is a nightmare.
But it's
better than just dying, though, isn't it?
It's better than none
of your vehicles.
And that's what I mean. I would almost that's what I might look at it. Is like the rule might be, instead of turning off invulns, all invulns become 6 ups.
Yeah,
because that still gives you a chance.
I'd prefer that. Yeah, that's better.
Cool.
Cool.
John, do you want to go next, or do you want me to do mine?
I don't mind, mate.
He wants to get his out because he doesn't know if you're going to have the same one as him.
Well, I'll go first then, in case it's the same.
Go on then.
So, like Tom said, I'm not well versed enough in the rules to just pick something up. So mine's more with the order of the game as a whole, if that makes sense.
I'll go first.
I'm going. Yeah. So the way I looked at it is, so obviously, as much as I enjoy playing, the one thing I always find jarring is that when it comes to turns, you have to suffer. Whoever goes first, you have to watch, like, say, me and you are playing Shane, you go first. I have to watch your command, movement, psychic, shooting, charge, fight, and morale before I get to do anything. And I find that really jarring. Is Tom dead?
Yeah, I was going to say his picture's gone off. I don't know.
We'll
Tom?
give it a second.
Anyway, John.
Let's go back. Right. I can't remember.
It was my turn next, wasn't it?
No. No. You had your chance. Right. So I can't remember exactly where
you're up to. So you have to. If you get second turn, you have to watch the other player do all of their phases.
Yes. So, and for the sake of an army, I find that very jarring to watch. So I would just change it quite a lot. So I would say you still roll off. So if someone goes first, someone goes second. You both have to do your command phase at the same time. So because that's where all your important strats come into it, where you need to obviously pick up your secondaries and primaries, things like that. So still roll off for who goes first. So player one, you get your command phase, so you can get what you need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
But then player two does their command phase at the start. And then after that, you can do everything in any order you want. So you don't have to move, then do psychic, then do shooting, then do charging, because it doesn't always work. Because sometimes you're in a position where you think, well, I want to charge now. I don't want to necessarily do my psychic. I want to get in there and see what I can do with this unit, because the way it's positioned to make it more dynamic. So you probably get the first round, everyone's going to move a little bit. But you think, well, I don't want to necessarily do psychic because I want to see if I can kill this model first here. So you would still take it in turn. So it would go, if me and Tom were playing, Tom goes first, he does his command phase, and I'll do my command phase. Then he decides, I don't want to move closer. I'm going to try and shoot some stuff off the board. So I'll shoot next. But then I'm like, okay, he's done his shooting phase, so he can't shoot this round. And then I would do, okay, well, I'm going to move up. I don't know if I'm overcomplicating this.
So hold on, let me just. So you could choose to shoot first.
Yeah. So you've still got the 7 rounds: command, movement, psychic, shooting, charge, fight, morale, and you still have your 5 rounds. But you can do, other than command phase that has to go first. In that round you can do it in any order you like. Obviously, morale would have to go last.
You get to do all of your phases before your opponent, though.
No, you take it in turns to make it dynamic. I
so
think.
Move, shoot. Whoever chooses.
No. So you'd have to do all. It's a bit convoluted, but I think it would work. So you both have to do command phase first. So Tom would go, then I would go. Then Tom could say, right, I'm going to move everything forwards. So then he's moved. And I'm not going to move yet. I'm going to shoot first, and then. So Tom's done his movement. I've done my shooting. And then Tom can then go, what, fuck it. I'm going to move and put everything into cover. And then I would have to try and move to get to him after that. And then psychic. And then if you can get your charges in. So you can do it in any order you like, but you have to do the 7 rounds, the 7 phases, but you could do it in any order you like, rather than have to say, because first thing is I don't want to sit there and watch Tom do everything, because in a 2,000 point game, that's one person doing a lot of stuff at once before you get a chance.
Are you still thinking about when I took out like 758, 800 points in the first round?
I wasn't, because I've deleted that memory. I was just thinking of just like from a more realistic point of view of an army doesn't stand there and just take it. Do you know what I mean? So you would be like, okay, but even if it's not necessarily as complicated as the way I've made it, and you went, right, command, move, psychic.
See, I was thinking of something like that. That was my thing.
But maybe it's too complicated the way I've done it, where you could do it in any order you like.
I think that's going to cause more issues as well. I think that what you're trying to achieve is make the game more balanced, which I agree with. But I think that if you're going to have someone who's able to shoot, do their psychic, power charge, and then go, fuck me, I'm going to move behind this cover because I fucked all that up. You're going to have still an unfair advantage over someone who's got like they would do it in a different phase or always go in second. I like the idea of doing the command phase at the same time and then having a turn-based system for the other one, so doing your movement and then doing your shooting. But I think that perhaps even put it down a bit more, so have a unit. You can have your first unit, so same with like melee, turn the shooting phase into very similar to an average melee phase where you take it in turns to shoot, because I think that would stop that decimation in the first round where you're just dishing out hundreds and hundreds of points worth of damage, and you scuppered from turn one. Again, how would that work from a balance issue? Would that leave Tau, Admech at sort of a loss compared to your more melee armies, who can sort of chip off some wounds before they get to their full brunt of what their sort of like the firing line armies can do? But I think that there just need to be some form of balance in terms of, like you say, when you have a whole first turn, if you're caught a bit out of position and you lose some key units, it just takes the wind out your sails, and it's very hard to get back from that.
I think maybe it could work if, like you say, the command phase thing, both having your command phase at the sort of similar time or the same time makes sense. But maybe if you both have to move first, so either of your things first has to be one moves, then the other moves. Everything else is malleable. Like John says, you can do your psychic, shooting, or charging in whatever order you want. Obviously, you wouldn't charge and then shoot, because
unless you
could charge,
do the melee phase.
You could still say charging units can't shoot. So if you was like, if fine, let's say you did command, move, and you go, well, actually, I managed to get something close enough. I'm going to charge them, but then they can't then.
But they can.
Yeah, they just shoot first.
Pistols.
They can still shoot their pistols in the shooting phase. You know what I mean? Because they're in.
Or if they kill the unit in melee, they could then shoot another unit.
No, I think if they get in, you should be like, I think you should pick one. If say you manage to charge in and you decimate a unit of it, like some Terminators get in and kill some intercessors, that's they're done. They've done. You've achieved what you need to achieve. They don't get to shoot.
But like, you could move them and go, right, they're in charge range, but I'm going to shoot them first, which is what you do anyway.
You can do, yeah.
But then you have to go over to the other side to see if they're going to shoot or charge, right? If that's the way you're saying it, John. So the other, if you're doing one-on-one, like that guy could go right up to next to them, shoot them instead of charging them, but then he can't charge them because you will charge them. You know what I mean?
Maybe I overcomplicate it by trying to mix up too much. Maybe if it was a phase by phase rather than a mix.
I think so, because in all honesty, that sounds like a fucking nightmare.
I think
it would get so confused.
I think what you'd find as well is you'd find people being like, okay, well, I'm just going to skip my movement and psychic and charge phase this turn, and I'm just going to move and shoot, and that's it.
I think you'd have to say you can't skip anything. You'd still have to.
But you could that's what I mean. Whereas the actual game as it stands now, you can skip. You can be like, I'm not going to move.
Yeah.
So I think it does work if you do. I think it could still work if you do, as we've said, like you do it at the same time, but it's still in that order. So you do your command phase, and then like you move your army, I move my army, you shoot, I shoot, you charge. Like, I think some things still have to go. What you could do is like they do in Kill Team and Necromunda, is every turn you roll for initiative.
Oh,
so
really?
Rather than in 40k you roll for first turn, and you have to take it unless you're playing open war, in which case you pick. In Necromunda and Kill Team, you roll at the start of every turn to see who has the initiative, and then that player goes first. But in Kill Team, for example, it's like you said, you activate each unit differently. So it's like if I roll and I get the initiative, right, and I'm playing Kill Team, it'll be like, right, I get to move first, then the opponent moves, and then you take it in turns shooting. So you don't do it like linearly like you do in 40k.
I think the issue
comes similar to what I was saying in terms of do the movement and then the shooting. Cool.
But maybe the two things that actually can be interchangeable is obviously you have to move, and then the last thing is charging. The first thing is your movement, and the two parts that can become interchangeable is the psychic and the shooting. So maybe you get to change them two around. So you can either shoot first, and then whatever's left, you can use your psychic to smite the ones that you need, or the other way around, if you know what I mean.
Or bring wounds back after you've been shot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or whatever psychic buffer you actually have, but they should be interchangeable.
I imagine
ranged weapon.
Yeah, because in a real battle, in a real 40k battle, you imagine like someone's like done a smite and then they get shot in the chest, or they may get shot in the chest. And I can't heal you because I've already fucking smited him. Sorry, buddy. Bye. You're like, actually, you dynamically use a psychic power later, or because then all right, well. I was thinking about it.
Tom disappeared to this time.
It's like he's been smited.
Oh, he's power. One CP gets you a beer.
He's smited the last can, and he's now into this one.
Yeah.
Now I'm smitten.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll take. I'll still. I still went first. It was still my idea, but I'll take what Dave said and make it less complicated.
I think there's definitely room there for changing it though, because I think you're right. Like as I said, sometimes when you're playing a game and you've set your armies out and you're all good to go, and you do that roll off the first turn, and you're a little bit crestfallen because you're like, what am I going to end up with at the end of this turn? What's going to happen? And I think there is stuff that can be done to address that first turn imbalance.
Especially when you have 20 poxwalkers and you just watch, and you can't hide them, you just watch them get picked off the table because you went second. You're like, they were supposed to clamber forward and just be a pain in the ass, but actually now they're just dead.
They're the meat shield.
The meat shield didn't get to shield anything, they just died.
On that note, John, have you ever thought, I know you've been running the Death Guard for a while, have you ever thought of actually getting rid of the poxwalkers and just going more elite? And just you've always got them, and they're bloody annoying, and they are horrific. Don't get me wrong, I fucking hate them. But you've got a lot of opportunities as well. Have you ever thought maybe just get rid of a lot of them and just march forward with all that toughness?
So what I've done is, because you have to take troops. So
Plague Marine.
Yeah, but they're shit. They're fucking shit. They are rubbish. Plague Marines are not. Poxwalkers are better than Plague Marines because all right, Plague Marines can shoot, but generally they don't do any damage. And you say, all right, you might take some blight launchers and get a wound in if you're lucky here and there. But from my experience, they don't hold objectives, because the games that I've played where I've gone, even when I've stuck them in a rhino and I've shot them up the board and I've gone, get on that objective, they might hold it a turn, but generally they get decimated. They get decimated in shooting, and then normally the one or two that have survived get killed as soon as anyone gets into combat. At least with Poxwalkers, you have the numbers where you can hold on an extra turn and keep that objective. Plague Marines, you can have 10. Poxwalkers, you have 20, and you can get lucky and keep a couple. They can't shoot, but you can bring a few back, and they can be a pain, especially if you use the strat that I like.
Yeah.
With the exploding sixes and the mortal ones. But Plague Marines for me.
You got a big thing against your Plague Marines, haven't you?
As much as, do you know what really pisses me off? I think they're really cool looking models, but they just don't work for me. I don't know if anyone has better luck.
You've used them in every game.
Huh?
You've used them in every game.
What, the Plague Marines?
Yeah, haven't you?
I
rarely bring them anymore.
Terminators now.
Terminators. And this is the thing. Like, yeah, you're right. I will bring as many Terminators as I can get. But I need more. I'll have to buy. I definitely need to buy some more Blight Lord. Not Blight Lords. More
Death Shroud. You need at least 2 more Death Shroud.
Yeah, because free are good, but and they hold on. Like the game was it? I played with you. I had that one Death Shroud who just would not die till the end. He was brilliant. If I had 5 Death Shroud, I think I could do a lot more damage. Plague Marines suck.
I haven't actually played you, John, when you haven't used them yet. So that obviously it's been a while, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember the last game we had. It was we had the 3,000 point game where we didn't sleep, and then we had one game. We've had one game since then.
You beat me, didn't you, in the Crusade game? And I think that was maybe.
I can't remember. We'll have to play again soon. But but this is the thing. I can't even remember how we got onto this subject, but I like the look of the Plague Marines, and I don't know why they're so shit. I don't know if anyone else who plays Death Guard is having the same problem. Maybe I'm just not using them right, but I just find that they're allergic to staying on the board. That's my feeling anyway. I don't know anybody else that has when I play you guys, I don't know anybody that gets wiped off so easily.
I think it's an interesting one because I think they're like because they're similar to the Rubric Marines, right? From that point of view, they're not that good. Like Rubric Marines are shit in combat. They can't do anything. They've got they're as bad as Necron Warriors. They've got nothing to really hit them. I would be interested to see how your Plague Marines go now with Armor of Contempt, because that might make them that little bit more durable.
Maybe.
Because I think at the moment we're basically tactical Marines for regular.
Yeah.
Was that what are you expecting out of them? They are a troops choice. Like you would wipe out a Tau fire team, you'd wipe out half a unit of Necron Warriors. Tactical squad aren't that durable.
But I've played now with Plague Marines, and they didn't do. They didn't hold the objective.
I think they're about as durable.
You have range that they don't have, and the movement is like Death Guard. The problem with Death Guard is the movement. Almost everything is 5 inches, and anything that's more, other than the vehicles, I won't include the vehicle. Like the Demon Prince, he's got a much better movement. But he just walk up and get killed because he's got no one with him to protect him.
He's on his own.
He's got 8 inches without wings. and the Death Shroud is slowly getting further and further behind, going, no, we can't protect you because we're back here. And now the bodyguard rules change, so we can't even hide and help you. That's the rule I changed, fuckers.
change it back.
Yeah, change it back.
Your rule change is to come up from 5 inches to 8 inches if you can.
I tell you what, I changed the rule. Death Guard have roller skates and they can do 15 fucking inches.
15 inches, no problem.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like I think, all right, they're a troops choice, so they're not supposed to be OP. But having limited movement, so they don't get up where they should go unless you advance. And not everyone's got weapons that you can still shoot, and you can't still move and shoot with that. I just don't think they hold on. I think you may be right. Armor of Contempt, they might be worth giving them another run out and seeing if they go, but not against another Marine army, because what's the point? Maybe against Tau or maybe against something else.
Necron, or
Necrons, but Plague Marines against Marines. I'd rather bring an extra squad of Foxwalkers just to try and get on an objective, or at least and that's it. But maybe I'm just not playing them right. But I can't see how else to do it. Yeah, all right, you can use strats to give them a bit more punch, but if they're not getting, if half of them are dead by the time you get there, there's no point. So
I get onto this from a balanced first turn.
Well, that's what I said. I can't remember.
I think it was from a you get your troops shot off first turn, so it was important to get the balance right between first turn and then Plague Marines.
John just went off on a tangent.
No, I didn't. All I know is I'm really fucking angry now. Anyway,
I agree. I think there does need to be a balance with the first turn. I think that it can be soul destroying when you're just sitting there watching your army get destroyed.
It is
the first few times that I played Tom's Imperial Fists, and I was just getting shot, and I was just like, this isn't even enjoyable. And it was for him, same as when my Tau shot him off the board. Yeah. But that's it. I think that's probably why we all enjoyed the Tempest of War games, because it's so balanced. It is so balanced. I think that's so important to making the game interesting.
The other thing with that as well, I was just thinking about that, is with the Tempest of War, it actually makes going second sometimes better than going first, because on your last turn you score your points at the end of your turn if you go second, rather than in your command phase. So it means that last turn you've got huge opportunity to score the primaries, which can again swing it back the other way. I don't think it addresses that first turn problem as much as you'd want it to, but it helps.
I know there are bits and bobs like in terms of that sort of make up for the first turn, like you say, scoring at the end and the way that the scoring works. But I just don't think that it makes up for it enough. I think that you can do so much. And I know that they say, oh, maybe you need more cover on the board. But I think there does need to be a way of making that first turn or every turn, I guess, much more balanced and stop it from just being a bit of a wipeout straight away. Because you see a lot on YouTube as well, where you just get first games lasting 2-3 turns when you sort of know the outcome after the first turn.
I don't know if anyone would like to try it one day just to see how it works. If we just went command, move, so for a game, just one as a one-off, just to see if it was good, and we can next time we do a pod,
and then we can petition GW and say,
well, next time we can do a pod and go,
they watch this anyway, didn't they? They watch this anyway. See my fucking ideas. So watch this space.
10th edition will be
will be a little subnote in the back.
Well, no, the problem is because they like to complicate things and make things really difficult. They'll do it the way I said it first, so we'll all be confused. I'll get it, which is good because it was my idea, but you'll all be like, "This is shit." Anyway, well, that's my idea. That's my rule change. Dave, what's yours?
You know full well that you stole my rule change.
I didn't steal it. I just went first. I know what Glenn's would be because he's not here. I will say Glenn's. Glenn would take away the 10 points
of painted armies.
Painted army. And he would award it to the greatest army. 15 points if you've washed them.
Sorry, police helicopter flying above me now.
They've not found you then.
You've got a ceiling above you. How do you know it's a police helicopter?
Because I've just seen it go through past my window.
Fucking hell,
it's in your garden.
Oh no, literally going over the flats. It's gone over that side. It's okay, don't worry. I use broken chloroform. They won't know.
Cool.
It's in the fridge.
We've all had a go, except David didn't bother to pick one this week. So, has anyone got any other rules they're not happy with?
No, Dave's got one.
You know full well that was a combined effort.
Oh shit!
You would assign.
Come on the spot. Let's see what you can do, it, Dave. 5-minute piece. Come on, one rule. Anything.
I'd say that the Black Templars get the miracle dice as a rule.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think that.
So we all vote positive for that.
Yeah. No, I don't think. I think the balancing is the main thing for me.
Yeah.
So I think a way of addressing that balance, because it can just sway the game so much, and I think, like I said, that is just what makes Tempest of War so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's just the game feels balanced because there isn't this maybe a change on secondaries. Maybe to have it so that once you score 5 points, you have to change your secondary. I don't know if that would make the game more complicated, but rather than being able to score a certain amount of points for a secondary every turn and keeping that for the whole 5 turns, once you scored them 5 points and having like a bit of a fusion with the Tempest of War idea, like what Tom said, where you get to pick your next secondary, then that might be interesting.
So maybe you have 3 then. So you have one secondary that stays throughout the whole game, one that you get to pick each turn, and then one that's a random one, if you know what I mean, from the deck.
No, it's my idea. Shut the fuck up. Something like that, where you just change up a little bit and take away, because it is a dice game. At the end of the day, it's a dice game. So there's an element of there is an element of luck, of randomness with it. and maybe it needs to be reflected in the game to make it a bit. Obviously, this wouldn't be suitable for tournaments and stuff like that, because I imagine that they're playing at a lot higher level than us. But as a narrative game, as an enjoyable game, I think the Tempest of War is such a good starting point. They're like, hands down, I've enjoyed them the most. So bringing an element of that into your traditional games might be interesting. There you go. One on the spot. How about that?
Well done. Well done.
Thanks. Yeah.
The only other thing I can think of, I brought it up before, it's not really a rule, it's the way that they do it. Leave us for a year, 18 months on 9th edition, and bring all the fucking codexes out at once. So you're not changing rules halfway through. Bring it all out at once. Everyone will rush out and buy the codex for the armies they want, regardless. Just have it set, because you're not confusing anybody. You don't have to backtrack, and we all know where we stand, and we can play.
As a game, from a gaming point of view, that would be so good.
Yeah.
From a business point of view, that would be a terrible idea.
But I don't think it would. But how would it be? Because they're going to say, here's all your new armies, here's some new models. Even from now, fuck it, even from January 2023, if they go in 2025, that's when you're going to get 10th. Everyone's going to get some new models. You're all going to get a new codex, and you're going to get bits and pieces, and it's all going to be worked out. We're going to take the 2 years to sit down and work it out. So when it comes out, you're all good to go, and you can all learn together and play it and not just go, fuck it out. Here you go. Here's your army. We've done that. Fuck, we really fucked over this people. Let's make them better than they were. Do it properly. So make it enjoyable for like a season where everyone can just get into it and go. And we haven't got to watch, because they must get. I mean, they probably don't really care. But I would have thought they'd get bored of hearing, "Oh, my army's not very good." My army's OP, and then the people that were good, and it goes up and down like that. Just bring everyone out an even kill.
Well, they need to sell. That's all it is.
Do you think that you're ever going to get a balanced game with the amount of factions that there are in the game now?
I don't really feel like there is that many. Like, really,
there's always a balance.
Break it down.
With the amount of different armies, different styles, without taking away some of their own things that make them exciting, is there going to be a way that you can make them balanced? Or is it always going to have to be that permanent, we're going to patch this, we're going to patch that?
No, I feel like this is what I'm saying. This is why I would rather stay as we are. And when they bring out 10th, ready to go. Don't bring it out and go, we'll just keep changing it as it goes along. Fine if you want to introduce new factions, like if you want to go, so like for example, the World Eaters are going to get their own codex.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Let's go into 10th in 2 years and go, do you know what? Fuck it. Right, okay. Word Bearers are next. Iron Hands. We'll bring them in and then we'll bring them up to where everyone else is. But don't throw out, well, here we go. Here's 9th. 1, 2, 3. You're ready to go. And then all of a sudden, in 6 months' time, well, here's the next 3 that are going to fucking decimate the people that already got their codex. That's just a complaint. I don't know how you would do it. I'm not. It must be fucking hard. Like the rule books are mental, and it's a very complicated game. I just feel like there must be a way of doing it to bring it out so everyone's on a level playing field. And if you want to change things through the season, like bring out Tempest of War and stuff like that and change it, then that's a good way of doing it.
I think it was, I can't remember, 7th or 8th edition. It might have been 7th, but that's how they did it. They did it. There weren't any codexes. There was indexes. So everyone had an index, and you had universal rules. So, like, that's where terms like "feel no pain" come from, because that was a universal rule. This unit, whichever faction it's in, has "feel no pain" on a 5+. So that was a universal rule, and if you saw "feel no pain" as a keyword in your index, that unit had a 5+ invuln. That's what it was, and that's how it worked. And actually, a lot of people that played 40k at the time loved the indexes, loved the universal rules, because it did what you're saying. It made it fairly balanced, fairly easy, and everyone knew what every other army did fairly easily. It didn't take a lot of research to work out what one thing did, what didn't. You didn't have to spend an hour before each game going, and what does this unit do, and what does that unit do? Because everyone had universal rules. So it's like, this unit on my army has, concealed positions. And you're like, right, okay, so that unit of, I don't know, Death Guard, whatever, that's got concealed positions. That's the same as my Phobos unit. So I know what they do. I get it.
Yeah.
The trouble is, and this is more to Dave's point, is that GW is a business. If they released it like that again, like, for example, Dave might not have ended up buying Tau because he's like, right, it's the start of the year. Like, I've got 2 years of 10th edition. Black Templars have come out. Everything's come out at the same time.
And I'm chasing the next.
You what?
You know why? Do you know why? Actually, good. Let's sort this out. Do we know why I actually started collecting Tau?
Because they got a big shooting gun.
Who bought me my first Tau unit and forced me into buying the army?
Is that Tom?
No, it was John.
John.
I didn't buy you your first Tau, did I?
Yeah, that stealth unit. Because I said that I was thinking about doing it, and you bought me that unit, and I had no option then. I had to do it. So it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Shut
I'm
up.
not chasing matter. It's your fault.
Someone more interesting was talking before you.
No, I mean that. No, like I've got nothing.
So,
no.
Did you play a lot of Seventh?
No, I didn't. I played hardly any at that point. I just know about it because you still hear a lot about the universal rules because it's like a natural language within the game now. Like I said, feel no pains and shrugs and stuff like that. People still refer to it now because they're universal. They're still universal rules. They're just called different names. And you just hear a lot of YouTubers go on about it, like, the indexes. You read articles about it on Spiky Bits all the time. Like, it was a point where everyone was like, yeah, the game was simple and, the indexes helped. It might have been start of 8th, to be honest. And then they started bringing the codexes back out and it was like, right. And then you've got codex creep and yada, yada, yada.
I think individual codexes is a good thing. And I don't feel like we have to have universal rules. I just feel like everyone should get their rules at the same time. Even if you bring out, like Tau, who've got the railgun that can take out invans, but everyone comes up on the same field. So everything's balanced in a way of they haven't got to then go, oh, do you know what? Now we'll give your Terminators OBSEC. Work it out. Take 2 whole Games Workshop, take 2 whole years, 2025. Then you can say, here's all your codexes. We'll release them over 6 months.
3 years.
Huh? Well, no, I'm saying we'll write off 2022 because let's just put it down to, I don't know.
Get everything released.
Let's put it down to monkeypox because that's the new trend that's going on. Take 2 years, sit in the tower, work it out, get everyone's codexes written, how you want to do it. Yeah. And then everyone's got 2 years to play how it is now. And then we'll all complain in 2023, in May 2023, we'll all moan about how everyone's too balanced and no one can win because we're all fucking counting each other out.
Yeah, get John down with his blank pages in his codex. There's write a whole new rules for the whole game.
This is the problem. Look, if you look at this, where the fuck am I supposed to write on a page like this? They filled it in. I can't add anything. It's ruining my fucking cheat. Uno, however, have got it right. They give you blank cards to write on, and they tell you to write your own rules.
Who?
That's where I'm going. Uno.
Who the fuck are they? What's this got to do with
Uno.
What the hell's going on? I'm on a fucking trick. What? Who's Uno?
Exterminatus.
Yeah. That's exterminatus. See you later.
As always, we would like to thank you for listening to our Iron and Ceramite podcast. If you liked us, then you can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and any other good podcast services. Just remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Watch, like, say, me and you are playing Shane, you go first. I have to watch your command, movement, psychic, shooting, charge, fight, and morale before I get to do anything. And I find that really jarring. Is Tom dead?
Yeah, I was going to say his picture's gone off. I don't know.
We'll
Tom?
give him a second. Message him quickly.
I wonder if his battery ran out.
Yeah, charging though, didn't he?
So we'll give him a sec. Is this what yours was then, Dave?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad I went first then. He's not replied, so I imagine his battery died. In lighter news, we're expecting our Warhammer exclusive models any day now.
Oh,
Dave's not.
what one did you go for?
I went for the assassin.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
Tom went for the orc.
To add to some base.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I said because I've got the original. I don't like, and I haven't run the assassin in ages.
Hey.
There he is.
Sorry. I plugged my charger in, but I didn't switch the fucking plug on. Fucking ridiculous.
We would literally, while we were waiting for you to come out, we are just talking about the Warhammer Plus models. We're due any day now.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got the orc, haven't I? I think. Am I the only one that's got the orc out of everyone?
Yeah.
And now I'm not going to play orcs. But having said that, the other model I have anyway, so just not the same. But
Yeah, I was saying I've got the original Vindicar as well. The second sculpt of the Vindicar, which I haven't played in an army in ages. So.
Who knows?
Exterminatus.
Yeah. Let's exterminate. Well, actually, see you later. That was a good place to end it, I think.
Uno.
But seriously, have you never played Uno, Tom?
Obviously not.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll have you around. It's a fucking
Having me around, mate, not to play fucking Uno.
It's a good game. Do you know what? Next week it'll be the Iron and Ceramite Uno podcast.
It gets brutal.
It does. The kids get violent, honestly.
They do. They fucking, and I can't stand playing it with my kids.
Oh,
You know-
okay, that makes sense.
We got it for Ben's birthday, so we've played it 3 or 4 times now, and I love it because it's fucking annoying.
It's when they start fucking you over on purpose. You're like, you're not playing the game for the game. You're just playing it just to fuck me over.
Basically,
I'm not having it.
But the kids are beating you. Basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
No,
because
they're not even playing it to win. They're just playing it to fuck you over.
yeah, they just want you to pick up cards.
You are winning.
Because that's the thing. Is they don't win either. What happens then is someone else, like the wife,
Sneaks
will
in.
win, yeah, and will win it because no one's paying attention or playing it tactically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ,
just-
you kids.
It's just how do we make Dad not win?
Yeah.
That's how it is. And then every time, because you add the points up off the cards that are left, and so Charlie won the other day. The first game he got 132 points, and then Ben won, then he won, then Ben won, then I won one. I got 6 points because of the cards they had left. And I was just like, for fuck's sake, because you have to get like 500 total, so you could end up playing 20 games before someone wins.
Yeah. Maybe you could have used the psychic phase instead of the shooting phase.
Do you know what I use? I use the
Clip around
ground
the back
pin,
of the head.
I use the ground pin phase where they can't move anymore, or the Nerf gun phase to get them out of the house.
Yeah.
Yes, but this is going to be my new cards that I'm going to slip in because they're about the same size actually.
So yeah, new stratagem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uno.
Uno reverse. Actually, it's my shooting phase.
Yeah.
Uno reverse. Tau now belong to me.
For 0 CP,
Hold
I turn
on.
off all armor saves.
Why is there a big gap in the cards to write on or what?
No. So yeah, you get a couple in every pack. So they're like what are they called? Wild cards.
Wild cards.
So you can write these ones are here, so you can write your own rules on in pencil. Yeah. So you can. I'll write on here Ben's because he keeps cheating, but I can't play that card because I can't call him a.
Yeah, there's no rule there, John. You just insult him.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. just the home truth. But not really. But yeah, I might just write. What I'm going to write on him is Dad gets 100 points. That's what you got. That's what you're supposed to do, or pick up 100. It's a brutal game. I remember when it first came out. Do you not remember? You used to have like the machine that spat cards out.
Yeah, you got
on TV
deck,
all the time.
Deck one, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think they do it. And now it's just, and you get all sorts of Uno now. It's like Monopoly. Any version of Monopoly you can think of, you can do the same with Uno. I don't know why you'd play Harry Potter Uno. I don't know the benefit of that.
What the fuck are we even talking about anymore?
Right, are we done?
I think, yeah.
Do we not want to play Uno before you go?
Right.
So, yeah.
Have a wonderful evening.
What's happening?
Next poker night, we'll start with a warm-up
We'll
game.
go some Uno.
Oh, definitely not.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.